how to make those challenges. Okay, our next topic, it's DevSecOps. What is DevSecOps? Development, which includes information security technology. We are going to speak with Alexei Zhukov, the product management manager for DevSecOps, Alexei Bobenko, deputy head in the Center of Software Solutions for National System of Payment Cards. Alexei, hello. Hello. And Vladimir Kochetkov, the head of Department of the Research and Development of the Analyzer of Positive Code. Okay, let's begin with decoding of these complicated DevSecOps abbreviation. What does it mean? Alexei, you're going to be the first one. Me? All right, it's very strange because I will have an alternative point of view on these DevSecOps. Decoding DevSec and Ops, we are not going, everybody can Google it, but generally speaking, the approach, what does it mean to me? If in the beginning, first of all, it's a methodology and approach. If DevOps approaches were serving us in this modern, fast-changing world to be able to reduce time to market for products, and we could reduce the release cycle from very extended period of time of several months and reduce it down to 1 day, so that several times a day we could roll out new software products. And of course, for this paradigm, the old security paradigm, so after you have changed something in the software and right now you also want to spend 2 weeks to check it, it doesn't work anymore. So right now we have to catch up with this fast cycle, and we should be able to install the security. So DevSecOps, it's a methodology and an attempt to provide security in a paradigm that we are really fast in rolling out new releases with new changes and modifications. So this is my internal feeling and vision of this methodology. Vova, I think you have your own definition of DevSecOps. Well, I think it's also a little bit banded into my area of what I do. Statistical analysis in DevSecOps for me is the automation of all activities in the life cycle of the software related with security provisioning. Not more, not less. Losha, you have definition number 3. Definitely, of course. It makes sense to be a little bit more original. Okay, let's see. Explaining it in a simple way, I would like to say what was the beginning of all of this, because DevSecOps story, it's a logical continuation of the story with DevOps, because a big number of anecdotes and jokes about programmers saying that, well, everything works on my side, but the problem is on your side. So several years ago, or maybe about 10 years ago, this story did happen. And there was a perception like, well, everything works on my side. Try to see why it doesn't work on the side of the client. It's security. But now everybody's unhappy about it. And right now there's DevOps concept, when they have united development and deployment process and assistance and management, and everything started working. We started seeing systems which orchestrate everything, try to connect one with another. And until recently, outside of all these topics, we still had a topic of informational security involved. Informational security was the headache for the security guys. Of course, in modern conditions, when the ratio between security guys and developer guys in the quantitative understanding is significantly different, it's very hard to cope with it. So DevSecOps is an attempt which helps us to pool this well-recommended and confirmed paradigm of DevOps on the topic of informational security in order to make application more reliable, stable, and safe. It's not a secret that from the side of developers, there is a big skepticism. From the side of the people of informational security, they are not letting them work. Okay, let's speak about it. What is the main reason for such skepticism? And is there any dynamics or changes in this skepticism changing? Is it reducing? Or maybe the skepticism is growing? Well, I can be the first one because this is my favorite topic. The thing is that I've been involved in security for quite a while, and last 5 years I've been on the side of developers. And I did feel this story with skepticism and communication, classical security, as I call it, and development. I could feel it on myself. And here's a good example. Last year, I've been speaking something on another conference, and there was a question from the audience. Well, do your security guys looking at the code? Yes, of course, second. We say, okay, do they understand this code? I say, okay, guys, we have developers team. We create our own products. Of course, they look at the source code. And for them, it was a surprise. Why does it happen like that? Because unfortunately, very often, top management and informational security department is looked upon as something separate, as guys who are involved in like standards, accesses, like physical security, native security, but not something related on lower level or development related. So in this paradigm, we see the situation that there are guys who knows how it should be from the legal point of view, and they come with a list of requirements and they say, okay, do it this way. And there are developers who understand nothing about legislation, but they understand the development. But sometimes there are no people who understand both of these worlds, and it's very difficult for them to find common agreement between themselves. And developers, they don't want to learn about legislation, documents. And legal guys who are involved in paper security, they don't want to learn about development because they don't care about it. So unfortunately, we have this gap in this area. And the main solution in our case, it was created very simply. We have a department of product security, OPSEC. They do not belong to the management in security. They fully contained inside of the development center. And for us, providing security in a development center, we create software products. They are of good quality, and they have different quality characteristics. They have to be reliable, they have to be multifunctional with full functionality, they have to be integrated with other products. The load and security is one of the most important characteristics of the finished product. Therefore, security is tested internally. So at the output, we have a product which can work under the load, which is safe, and which beautifully works with all external products. That's it. And as a next step, security management with their own methods, any other methods, can evaluate and estimate that all the requirements are fulfilled. In other words, when security is in the development and when the part of the development is here, then we don't have the skepticism. But when two departments have a constant distance with different goals, different interests, and they speak in different languages, that's it. Okay, Vladimir, I have another question to you. The number of lines of code grows in geometric progression, especially right now when we are developing more and more of our own software. The company develops much more of it. So how can we provide it security? Well, as I think, security of applications which are being developed has to be provided by everybody during all stages, starting from architectural planning when the code is not available at all. We need to predefine certain concepts there, which on top of this architecture will allow us to write acceptably safe code. And of course, ending up with deployment, because we have the same principle of safe development,
secure by design,
by development, by deployment. Therefore, by default, the first one is by default. Deployment means that the product at all the stages, both the development and exploitation, should by default be safe, so that any person could deploy it, and at this moment of time, it's not going to be destroyed as soon as he does it. So this is also a concept which means that at all stages we should do it. On the stage of testing, quality assurance is good, but security and testing, nobody cancels it. And unfortunately, right now, people do not perceive security and testing as it was before. The significance of testing is understood by everybody, because the objective of the product is realization of a certain features which are going to help some users. This is deadline of the developers. and they come to this deadline, it's going to be good. But as for the security, they are standing outside. It has no relation to the features and they can be realized safely. But it pushes deadlines all the time because it takes certain time. You need to spend time for this. And this is why developers always had this skepticism, because safety in their understanding is something that makes them break deadlines. But I would like to tell you the following. 10 years ago, I had a very hot argument with one of the top managers in the development in third-party company. And he had a phrase, well, my developers are not paid for writing safe code. If I will tell them to write safe code, they will require higher salaries. My argument was a simple one. Okay, you don't pay them additionally to write code without bugs. Why security is so different from bugs? Same errors, but little different specifics, not more than that. So after 10 years after, in the course of many years, we have this secure development track in the course of many years, and guys are coming to me and they're really happy. Younger and younger guys are coming to us, students and school kids and elderly people, and most of them are distributing the audience. If previously we had more pen testers, security guys, managers, right now we have more developers, and developers are interested in this topic and they want to get some additional information. They want to learn something. So speaking about dynamics, everything moves to the better because they understand that writing safe code is the same as writing code without any bugs. And by default, there is a language in which you write. You can write with errors, with orthographical errors. You can miss commas. You can do some other things. It's not enough just to put right commas in, but you have to write proper words inside of it. But speaking, what's going to be the beginning? Some minimal set for the safe development, where the company or specific developer tries to make it his daily practice. What would you recommend? Well, we have to divide it into two main parts. The first part is the organizational part, because first of all, people who are going to be involved in safe development, they should be interested in this development, because when you come and say to the developer and to the team, okay, guys, starting from tomorrow, from 2 a.m., you will start writing safe code. It will never work. The main topic here is to find right people who are interested in this. What incentivizes them? What motivates them? This is different. Somebody will ask a higher salary. Somebody will be interested in this on a level of, being awarded for this, and saying, okay, you see, he's been writing such interesting code. Some other people will be interested to increase their value in the market. Administrative measures, like you're speaking about, they have a department with single set of goals, and by default, they use it in their work. Definitely, right. So when we get this live feedback, when we receive this feedback from developers, because I'll repeat it once again, we cannot solve security problems by the hands of security guys. And the ratio between security guys and developer guys and analytical guys, I see 1 to 1,500. 150, one security guy and 150 developers. So as soon as the situation will change, as soon as we will understand that the dialogue has been built with developers, then we can go to the technical details. We can have technical means which will analyze code, will make them pen test, will teach them safe development and work with documentation, etc., etc., etc. Increase their awareness from this point of view, and then then we can hope for some good future. Well, right now, I would like to clear the approaches to the code analysis. What are they, and how would you divide them in different classes and types? Well, Vladimir, I'm going to begin. First of all, there's a lot of criteria by which you can divide them. But first of all, it's the automated manual one. Either there's a person who reads the code and makes the review of this code, and this is a normal standard practice even irrespectively to security, to have independent review with the second, third, and fourth person for some changes which are put into repository. That's topic number one. Topic number two is the automation. But in here, it can be implemented on the stage, earlier stage, when the person just writes the code. So if, for example, his development environment will discover some security bugs, even on the stage when repository change request didn't come for the vulnerable code, we will know that it's vulnerable and it has to be fixed. As for this part, which is related to the automation, it can be divided for quite a period of time because there are different classes: statistical analysis, dynamical analysis, white box, black box, phasing, and many other different techniques and differently efficient techniques, and from the realities of specific project in order to stop on some set of tools we have to approach. Okay, basically it's something like that. What else? Well, I would like to make emphasis on the following. Any methods, any approach to the code analysis with tools, they exclude necessity of availability of manual analysis, the work of pen testers, the work of analytics, because there are certain classes of vulnerabilities which unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know how to say it, but in addition, well, they cannot be discovered otherwise but manually. Yes, we work in this direction. However, we have more questions than answers. And by the way, the question about vulnerabilities, with the help of tools and with the help of manual analysis, is it possible to guarantee that all possible vulnerabilities will be discovered, that the code at the output will be 100% safe? Well, nobody can give such a guarantee. Well, there's a paradigm that, well, we can reduce the probability of a certain share of percentage spending a lot of resources on this. However, we still cannot exclude some 0 days, which we could not discover previously, and some other factors. So I would never sign a paper when somebody would tell me that the guarantee that the code is 100% safe. I would never sign a paper like that. Well, speaking about the code analyzer, the code is going to be better, the code is going to be safer, but not 100% better. Okay, let's do it in the following way. How can we measure this result for the safe development? It's a good question. Well, as for ourselves, we have adopted the following concept. We have an internal team of security provisioning, and periodically we hire different people from industry who make independent assessment for us. What do you mean independent assessment? Independent assessment from the point of view assessment, we are like dependent assessment because, you know, we have the brand eye, but we have our own approach. But it will have guys from the outside, like Positive Technologies company, the company which has have great expertise. They can come to us, they look at it, because any work like pen testing work, security protection analysis operations, they can have analysis results. There can be a team spend 3 months and say we found nothing, 0 report. It's not really nice as a result. And anybody, any researcher wants to find some bugs or something to show something as a result, and it's also going to be a result. And it's going to be a result which shows that internal team worked well. So we, from our side, we would like to compare our efficiency by this indicator. And the most interesting thing is that if they bring us not an empty report, but with certain vulnerabilities, it doesn't mean that they didn't work very good, because there are some situations when all the vulnerabilities that were delivered to us, we know about all of them. And they don't have such a level of criticality in order to fix them immediately right now. That's why we can evaluate them in such a way. Maybe there is a research about, you know, some convincing formal methods that can be managed. But honestly speaking, I don't really believe it. But, you know, coming back to the topic of like Scanias, well, to my point of view, it's a very dangerous trend that is available. It says like we are going to put a scanner to ourselves and we will automatic reports will send to the developers and they will fix everything. So when we don't have intermediary person who will take care of this scanner, So we need a certain documentator. Yes, definitely. You have to complete it for yourself. You have to complete rules. You have to add some exceptions. Definitely, because out of the box, it doesn't work very well because every team has their own approach. They have their own stack of technologies, their own peculiarities, and basically gate flow is separate and nobody knows what should be scanned. That's why, from this point of view, this is a dangerous story. For example, when we have installed everything, it's safe because we have scanner. It has scanned everything. But what's next? First of all, these reports have to be cleaned by somebody, and somebody on the basis of these reports should come to conclusions, and then these bugs should be fixed by somebody. So, so that they wouldn't allow them for repetition. So the more mature safety processes are in the company, in the side of the product security, the less automation means are discovering bugs. So developers at a certain moment of time, they understand how in language constructs they should allow the problems, and all the problems are moving into some logical levels, into problems related with access rights. So to those things which scanner is not able to fix from the principal point of view, because scanner cannot understand the logic of application operation. And this is where in the OPSEC, they start getting involved in more interesting things and not just looking for additional bugs. Okay, I would like to speak about results. As a manager of development, or maybe technical director of the company, or maybe the CEO of the company, how can one measure the efficiency of existing process of safe development? Well, the thing is that in order to measure the efficiency of implementation, you didn't have it and now you have it. We have to understand how it was before the implementation, the point of accounting, how it can be compared, because they have not implemented any process, and even the assessment was not the right one, because assessment is the part of the process. So in here, it makes sense to evaluate the dynamics, dividing them by iterations, intermediate periods, and find concepts like the quantity of discovered vulnerabilities over time of life of 0 day in their products, how fast patches are being made, risk-wise. You have to rank the vulnerabilities and look at the vulnerabilities. Do you have more of them? But right now, they are low-risk vulnerabilities because they are efficiently being cut by these processes. If I would build this, then I would look at the dynamics and I would look at how effective the access is growing, but from which they started growing, nobody knows. Can you add something, Alexei? Well, I would extend this topic. I will make an example. We had a very interesting case with one of the clients, and we've been cooperating with him in the course of several years, and they started with coming to us with the words, okay, look at this, what about security of our present systems, and they've ordered from us services for penetration tests. After this, they have understood that we have to fight with these situations, and they were not really happy about the results. Not results of the test, not the quality of this test, but results from the point of view of availability of vulnerabilities. And from time to time, they started requesting services for code analysis with instrumental means. The time was passing. They started understanding that certain expertise has been developed. They've purchased the analyzer. Moreover, they've built it into their assembly conveyor. And right now they are on the stage when automatically they have a code analysis, when the information about vulnerability arrives starting from the moment when they are appearing in the code, but they don't allow them to appear in the production. So this is the moment when we see the dynamics of how everything was started and the level of results and pen tests. And right now, how it looks like live. But in order to evaluate the current situation, of course, we should attract external companies which are going to conduct objective assessment of the current condition of the situation from the point of view of vulnerabilities. Thank you very much. Safe development is a very important development without which it's impossible to go, because right now companies start developing more and more of their own software, and vulnerabilities in this software are not allowable because they come to the result of the development and they make it unnecessary and maybe even dangerous for the company
Каким образом использовать безопасную разработку? Это
We can use safe development, like motivation of the teams, implementation of teams for DevSecOps in the development team, and there's a lot of tools for safe development. And you looks like a safe development is needed. Thank you very much, guys, for interesting topic.